Hey, YouTube. What's up, General Chat? Back at you. I was listening to some information with Fat Joe about black racists. Well, here's my opinion on that, right? I know what he's talking about. He's correct in the sense that there are a lot of people who are trying to hold on to some dignity and some type of recognition for so-called African Americans. You know, I don't like that term. If you're born in America, you are an American national. You're not African American. Elon Musk is African, but he's not classified as African American. He's classified as white. Go figure, okay? Elon Musk, I'll say it again, a technological hero with SpaceX and Tesla and PayPal and the Boring Company and all these other things that he has going on and things to come with the robots. And he's a genius. He's from Africa, okay? South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. But he's classed as white. He's not African American. Go figure. Okay. So Fat Joe was saying that some of these guys, some of these so-called African American guys are trying to, well, he's saying that they're racists. Okay. Now, again, I understand what he's trying to say, but you cannot be a racist just because you don't like. Now, they may be bigots, and that's a stretch, because I don't know any black people that don't like white people or other races. I think most of it is a discussion on how black folks as a race has been treated in this country ever since. Okay? Ever since the transatlantic slave trade. And again, that was a business. It was a franchise. Okay? There were indigenous so-called black folks here way before Christopher Columbus. So white folks stopped being stupid to think that all black people came over here on a slave ship. That's not true. Most of you weren't even born here, okay? Let's stop the bullshit. Excuse my language, YouTube chill. Okay? All right, so I understand kind of where he's coming from. He's Puerto Rican. He really should just stop acting like he's a national, because he's not. Well, unless he was born here. Unless he's born here, he's an American national. His ancestry may be from Puerto Rico, but he's not Puerto Rican if he's born right here. Okay? Now, everybody's got their opinion. Everybody's trying to get a piece of the American dream, the American idea. Okay. They've put the carrot in front of all of our faces. Okay? But when you look at it, so-called white supremacy still is a factor. Okay? And when I say supremacy, I mean that the majority of control is from white men in this country. Okay? And that's only because they have positioned themselves from playing chess, not checkers, over a couple hundred years, few hundred years, they're in that position. Okay? The 60s, well, the 50s, 60s, and 70s, when we had a chance to get a leg up, we got distracted. And that's why these big corporations invested in Soul Train. That's why Norman Lear came out with shows like Good Times and all of these things to distract the paradigm of so-called black folks. It's a mind science that they played, okay? And while they were doing that, it goes deeper than that. That's just scratching the surface of what they did. But that's basically what they did, was a misdirection. And then with the welfare so-called movement and the Section 8 movement, that destroyed black families. Okay? They played chess the whole time, while using the television and imagery as anchors for the belief of certain things. And then that's why and how we have white supremacy. And I'm telling you, that's how they did it. Because I study psychology, I study social economics. That's what they did. And I'm just saying it in a nutshell. It goes deeper. There's more details and variables to what I'm saying, but basically that's what they did. And there's a lot of white folks that think they benefited on that information. So it's like if you're holding hands with somebody and you happen to be going down, they say, hey man, let me fucking go. And they snatch their hand away from your hand to survive. And that's what they did, so to speak. Terrible analogy, but just picture that. And that's what most white folks did. And they just went with the narrative without knowing the details of the truth. And now you've got movies like Superman, Star Wars. Who were the heroes? You know, Hollywood was a big factor, you know, and that's why you think, I mean, it is killing a couple of birds with one stone. Half of it, some of it is entertainment. The other half is mental programming. The other half is mental programming. Somebody like Dr. Umar could break it down better than what I'm saying. Somebody like, well, I know a lot of people don't like the minister Louis Farrakhan. However, I think, you know, he's an eloquent speaker, and I would say 95% of what he says I can relate to. Just put it that way, right? And he's not a racist, although he understands what has happened. All right, so back to Fat Joe. You can't be a racist if you do. My whole point is this. You cannot be a racist if you have no position of power to move other nationalities off the board. Okay? You can't be a racist. Now, a person cannot like other racists. I mean, a person cannot like other nationalities. You cannot like white folks. You cannot like Indians or Puerto Ricans or Chinese, but unless you have some kind of position of power to stop other nationalities' progress, you cannot be labeled as a racist. Okay? You get that? You cannot be labeled a racist if you have no position of power or position of influence to change anything. You cannot be a racist. You cannot like. You can be, you could fall into the class of maybe bigotry, but not racist. You can't be a racist, Fat Joe. All right? Now I know what you mean. People are speaking against certain things about Puerto Ricans not having any kind of influence on American culture. Well, sure, Latinos have had some influence, okay? I wouldn't say 100%. I'd have to do some more research. But yeah, some people of Latino descent have done things, I'm sure. But not as a race, as a culture. No. What? Maybe some of the food, some of the music, but it's not what you would call American music or American cuisine. It's all from your country. I mean, even African people coming over here, I don't like any of that food. I'm going to be honest, because I wasn't brought up on it and I don't like the way it tastes. My system, I can't eat it. I can't eat that fufu or whatever. I can't eat that stuff. The diet has changed. So I just wanted to correct that part. You cannot be a racist if you have no position of power to eliminate other nationalities off the board or stop the progress of other nationalities. Can't be labeled. Black folks have no position of power. Dr. Claude Anderson said it. Black folks are the lower class. They are. And I hate to say it, but it's true. Show me where I'm wrong. I can go out, and I go out to places, and I present myself as a normal man, and I demand respect. I give respect. And when I say demand respect, I carry myself with respect. That's the only way you can address me, is with respect. You can't disrespect me. You understand? So that's what I mean. I don't go around shouting, I'm black and I'm proud and all of that foolishness. Okay? Some of that was another co-op. Black folks have no heritage. They do, but it's all scattered. And the truth was never taught. Now, again, this is not a rate. This is not a some kind of racist rant or whatever. I just want to correct some ideas about this whole thing. All right? You can't be a racist if you have no position of power to stop, eliminate, or change another race or nationality's progress. Can I say the white structure has been racist? Yes, because they are able to, within that white supremacy form. And again, listen, I'm not hating on anybody, okay? I'm just saying what the structure has turned into in this country. Yes, Obama was president, but that don't mean anything. Obama does not control the banking. Never did. The banking is what controls everything. Who started and runs the banking? All right. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund. I don't think there's a brother on the board. And I don't mean to say that disrespectfully. There's not a black man or an African man on the board. And when I say African, I mean a brown skin, because there are white Africans. They come over here, they're not African American. They are, but they're not classed as that. They're classed as white. How can I be African American? I've never been to Africa. Sure. I've got some German I've had this discussion. I've got some German in my bloodline. Never been to Germany. Does that make me German? I'm an American national. I was born here. I'm in the process of correcting my status and all of that, right? Should have did it a long time ago. But the people I got the information from, they gave me the information without instructions. Well, they gave me the instructions without any kind of tutelage and just left me to figure it out for myself. So I said, all right, fine. So even in that, beware of some of these companies. Yeah, you got to figure it out for yourself, but there should be some help and instruction within that. Once I figure it out, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to share without charging. I'm going to do my best. A lot of these people, once they get the key to freedom, they charge to get you out instead of getting you out. Right? They don't. One guy, Yusuf Fell, he's been doing his best. So I'm not saying everybody, but I'm talking about how to line for line. And maybe you can't do it exactly that way. All right, so I'm getting sidetracked. But Fat Joe, get a grip. All right? And I understand what you're saying respectfully. But black folks, so-called African Americans, have no position of power to be able to stop any other nationality's progress. So you cannot call them a racist. Ask Dr. Umar Johnson if I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong about that, then leave it in the comment or make a video and I'll check it. Because we can agree to disagree. I can be wrong about something. I'm man enough to say, oh, okay, I've got better information. All right, I was misinformed. No problem. Not the end of the world. I can be corrected. However, I think I'm right on this one. All right? Yeah. But love to everybody. Hey, I think, again, if we all look in the mirror like Michael Jackson said, maybe we have a chance. All right.